So you stayed in a cell?
Stayed in a cell, yeah. They basically they said, look, we're gonna arrest you. And at that point I was like, all right, fucking hell. This is what I liked. They had to kind of tell the officer in the office basically what I was arrested for. And they were like, this one's been under section blah blah blah, the Terrorism Act. And the guy, no joke, like cracked a little laugh. He was like, all right, okay, let's get you written up.
Hello guys, welcome back to Jack Makes Happy Hour. You right, Jordan?
Mate, I'm great.
How are you?
How are you doing?
I'm really good.
You're beaming.
Yeah, we've got a couple of guests that we'll get to in a minute. But just to let you in behind the curtain, we filmed a little bit of this, just a little.
Yeah,
just a little bit, and Stevie didn't hit record.
Fuck off! Stevie fucked it.
Hang on,
basically.
hang on, excuse me. What do you mean, fuck off?
I literally left the room to hit record. If you knew how to
Evidently
use
didn't.
technology, every fucking week I have to come in here, I set up all the cameras, make sure that's all
Here we
fine, make
go.
sure
I
everything
do it
else
all
is
the
fine.
time. That's his defence.
So who's at fault here?
Did you or did you not
So
hit the
I
button?
really like the guests that we've got today. Can we speak about
let's
them?
go to our guests. We have got
Hello, boys.
the first duo ever to be on Happy Hour. We've got Zac and Jay from the Zac and Jay Show.
We're back.
We're back.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I can only apologise that we've done
So
half.
we started off the last one seeing who you should get rid of out of them two. It was obvious now.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
As we were
That's it.
speaking about, there was a lot of debate in the comments about who should leave.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't even part of it properly at that point.
No,
So-
but yeah. So if you have got to keep on your annoying comments judging each one, it's obvious now.
Yeah.
Stevie's off. Right, Zac, Jay, from the Zac and Jay Show. Tell us, anyone that doesn't know out there, tell us about your content and what you do.
You take it this time because I was shit last
Yeah.
Got to stop
We've
referencing.
Test
had a couple of
Yeah.
run-throughs now.
That's it.
So we make all sorts of content. We've done things like how to get free chicken wings in London using business methods of persuasion, where you basically found out about multi-million-pound negotiation techniques that are
Like Wolf of
used.
Wall Street shit.
Yeah, really high-end shit. And we were like, right, we'll try it on the stingiest bosses in the world, the bossmen of London. That went quite well. We got like 27 free chicken wings by the end of the day. We've done like the World Bog Snorkeling Championship. So we went to the tiniest town in the UK, and every single year they dig a little hole in the ground and get people from all over the world to swim in it like weirdos.
What?
the
Hang on, wait. How
fuck?
does that work? So you've got what is it one hole that you go through and then there's a whole
It's
new
more,
world?
It's more
or-
of like
It's more of a channel.
well, it's
and
a
there's
bog.
two of
It's a
them.
bog, yeah, with
2
about
lanes
6
of equal length, and you race, and it's horrible, muggy, shitty water.
People
What-
don't
There was a
fuck around
trout in
either.
there as well. This
Yeah.
year. There was a trout in there.
Jesus.
Yeah.
What did you
Christ.
take part?
Yeah, we took part. Yeah, it's
Did you
one
win?
of the coldest I've ever been in my life.
Did you
I
win?
can't watch that video without shivering.
Really?
Came close to last.
I-
Didn't do well.
I would definitely do you an injustice to say you're pranksters because that's a wanky term and you're not that.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, yeah.
but
That's what the newspapers call us.
Yeah,
pranksters.
yeah,
That's-
but
mainstream media don't know what to call
papers-
anyone.
Yeah, but also
Yeah.
papers fucking hate YouTubes anyway.
I've heard a news report say vloggers.
Vlog.
Yeah.
We're not one of them either.
But I think your videos, because I've watched your videos for a while now, I think they're some of the most original videos out there, and everyone is so different to the last one. So if one's a bit shit, it don't matter because you know the next is going to be good. And I don't know if you boys know this, but one of my favourite types of video that you do happen to be your sneaking in places.
No.
You sneak into places.
Where it all began. Yeah.
We can talk about that.
Yeah, how'd
talk
that come
about
about?
Set the scene. 2016.
Yeah.
2 broke uni students. 1 mission to get
Yeah.
into as many festivals as you can for free. And then we started recording shit on an iPhone for basically Snapchat stories back when Snapchat was a thing.
Right.
Just showing off that we were like with our favourite rappers and shit like that. And then it kind of, we realised there was something in there. I've always wanted to create a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
So I started filming properly. As soon as I took my like DSLR camera, that was when like a whole new level was unlocked basically. And we were like then on stage, and then suddenly we was chatting to the acts and we were interviewing and all that kind of shit. So it was like a natural progression through the last summer of uni. And then the first video to ever go out on that channel was the Olympic homecoming parade one, which
Right.
which went a little bit mad.
So it's mad that you were doing this just because you wanted to do it. Anyway, I think that's how the best channels are always birthed.
Yeah.
Right.
Passion.
100%.
Yeah. People often now start YouTube channels, and there's nothing wrong with this, as we said in the Casper one. But people start channels now because they know there's money to be made and stuff like that. So it seems like a natural progression that you were just sort of fucking about, and that was that. When you said before you started a YouTube channel, you were doing it on Snapchat.
Yeah.
Were people buzzing off it back then, or
Yeah.
what?
Our 12 followers.
Yeah. One of them that I did was at Skepta in Manchester. He just released his album Konnichiwa, and it was sick set, really good night. And
I love the way you say Konnichiwa.
I can't remember the name, but yeah, it's Konnichiwa. So
Yeah.
there's a bit of uncertainty with how to. Yeah, I wouldn't normally say that. And then he ended the gig, and it was absolutely sick. He had no right to end it in the way he did. Bare excited, and I saw a load of waiters go backstage with like load of drinks. So I just looked around, quickly grabbed a bin and just followed him in. Didn't say this in the last one, by the way.
Yeah.
Got backstage. I went, yes, Skepta, give him a little spud. That show was absolutely sick. And after about 5 minutes of having a little drink, one of the security guys went, "Who the fuck are you?" And then everyone looked at me and was like, "Who the fuck is he?" And then I went, whoa, before he kicked me out because they were getting a bit rough.
Yeah.
I went, "Let me tell you how I got here." Told it in front of everyone. I had one fucking chance. And Skepta went, "That is so sick that you can stay."
That's amazing.
And I did a little
That is quality.
and the next day I did a little tweet like, "Oh, just got backstage." Oh no, that like half an hour after.
Yeah.
I went, "Just got backstage by carrying a bin bag to Skepta." And gave him a spud, and he went, "Ha, legend." And it went kind of semi-viral in like my Heaton Moor in Stockport, Great Manchester.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Is that right? Let's do it." And that's when. So it went. If we knew it could go kind of semi-viral around there, then
Yeah.
with a big boy camera and a sick videographer and fucking. Well, we didn't really know what the fuck could happen there, did we? So
No.
did a
So-
festival
That's
like for you.
quality.
So when you were doing it like
After.
naturally, just on your phone and that, it seems like it's a lot more natural. So when you have the big DSLR camera, does that make things a lot more harder?
No, it's normally like a prop. So
Really?
Even if you're not using it, like
Look more
in festivals
professional.
especially, like that is a key to anywhere in a festival.
I'm jealous that I don't have a camera.
a big camera,
I could
it-
go in. I don't know.
Yeah, normally he's the bin man, but to get in the front door, it's normally the bin man, like high vis jacket. You actually do
Yeah.
your job. You pick up litter, and then you walk through. No one's going to
And
question.
the good
you
thing about
because-
that no one actually knows, but this is an added benefit, is you can take an 8-pack of beer in the bottom of the bin bag, so you're not even buying alcohol.
Yeah.
that's
You're having the cheapest fucking festival ever, I say that.
How many festivals do you reckon you've done?
all of them.
We've hit double
No,
digits, haven't we, mate? We've hit
yeah.
double digits.
Yeah, too many.
Have you been back to the same festival twice?
Yeah, the
Love
one in
Saves the
Bristol,
Day,
we
yeah, it's a special
absolutely
one.
rinse it every year. We feel a little bit bad, but now that
It
people
usually
know
sells
that,
out, so
yeah.
Yeah.
we to,
So do you not think at one point you will become too known where you can't do that?
Yeah, is that
Yeah, maybe.
maybe not at festivals because like they are put up and taken down within the space of like a month. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's always
Yeah.
going to be little flaws in there, or
Yeah.
just people who are working for a free ticket because it doesn't make sense to pay those kind of people who are the stewards and they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And if anything, like I've met a few people at festivals who like watch the vids and they fucking, even in the last one we done in last summer, there was like 17-year-old kids who were doing exactly what we were doing, and there were 7 of us all dressed up as bin men, and we were trying to get our mate inside a bin.
yeah,
And I seen these 2
you take
kids,
the
and I
piss
was
in it at this stage.
like, I know what they are doing, and I ran up to them. I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And then they were like, "Oh shit, Zach! Like we're here because of you." And then we took them in as well. So full
Sick,
circle.
sick.
So yeah, I feel like festivals are always going to be easy. Gigs and events and high-profile events, they're clocking
Yeah.
on. So
So the first one I ever saw from you was the famous Conor McGregor one. Went viral on Facebook. You got to talk us through that.
oh, that was stupid numbers. Yeah, that so
What numbers? How many numbers does that get?
on Uni Lads, it was 65 mil or something like that.
Fucking
And
hell!
I was
it's
not
Facebook
expecting that
views,
much.
So
No.
but that was like, and the channel at that point was at 400 subscribers. So I was like a struggling kind of YouTuber. I was doing freelance videography work at the time just to like make money. And yeah, that kind of just come out of nowhere, and it was such big news in mainstream press and on Facebook the week before that it couldn't kind of not go viral. So it was the Conor McGregor effect, but it just fucking blew up, and yeah, it was like articles written about it, people making reacting videos, and then all of a sudden this dead YouTube channel was on like, I think it was 30k overnight. So I was like, oh shit,
Sick.
I
Yeah.
could actually do this.
What made
now,
you
so-
think of doing it? Like
So-
what made you think, you know what?
So
I dare to do this.
I should just say before we go further. So what happened was you managed to sneak ringside and backstage for the Conor McGregor Mayweather fight.
It was actually the press conference in London
Right.
before ahead of the main fight.
Oh,
but
of
this was
course,
a
right.
fucking spectacle. So it was essentially the same like gravitas of event. There was like Irish fans coming down to London. Everyone was smashed. I didn't know what to expect, and that was what it was. And I ended up walking out when he got announced with him and all his crew. I was like ringside for the whole thing. I was in his dressing room when he cut his birthday cake. I was like at the press conference front row. I was just taking a piss, really. I was fucking
That's
everywhere.
all your channel is,
I was
really.
everywhere that
So
night. It's just in the
fucking
background, like,
cool.
hey,
It's a
hey,
new
hey.
slogan, actually. Just taking the piss, really.
Just taking
We've
the
been
piss.
trying to
Yeah.
find a slogan.
That's quality.
Yeah.
What? So yeah, like you said, Stevie. What was your idea? How did you get that idea? What did you?
So we obviously, as we said, started off in festivals, and that was all like fun and games. And the end goal with that was like I'd filmed a load of shit. I hadn't made the videos, so I kind of just binned that one off. And then at the end of summer, it was the Olympic homecoming parade. So that was when we took the jump from like just fucking around to here's a target, here's what we want to get done. We want to jump on the homecoming bus with Olympians, dressed as Olympians, and just ride it down the street, see how long we'll last.
Yeah.
So that was the first one, which was like an actual official, like they had spent millions on security and all sorts. So that was like,
And it worked well then.
and it fucking worked well, and it
Yeah.
worked
That's
perfectly.
fucking
So that was
brilliant.
the first one of its kind in like it was a sporting niche and all that stuff. So I was like, it was actually Jamie texted me saying like Mayweather McGregor is in London this weekend or whenever it was. You should do it. And I literally just started doing research straight away, and the research period is normally like 5 hours of just scrolling through hashtags and shit like that. And it was then Mayweather's like personal driver that had put, it was a little flex on the Instagram. He put up the photos of the passes, AAA ones, along with like
Not
a
bad.
few Rolexes
Yeah.
and shit like
Yeah.
that. So I was like,
yeah,
right, this
yeah,
one's
yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
And I actually gave him a little shout out in the vid, so I'm pretty sure he's fired. But-
You said that as if you're doing him a favour there. Like,
Yeah.
give him a shout out.
Yeah,
Give
yeah.
him
I
a
made
sure
shout
they
out.
knew it's his
Lost
Ruined
his
his-
followers, lost
Ruined
his
his
job.
life.
Uber now.
Yeah.
And
But
more
yeah, so
Rolexes.
that was literally the most perfect.
So you take this guy's uploaded the picture of the
Yeah.
pass, you screenshot it, and you
Screenshot it,
you-
take it straight from Instagram, and usually there's a bit of like bodging going on with Photoshop, and I've got better at Photoshop since doing all this shit, but at the start it was awful.
was it?
This one was obviously easy because it was just a straight print screen. I cropped around it. I fucked around with a few things. I put Floyd Mayweather's nipple in his eye, so I replaced his eye with a nipple, and just little things like that. But for the most part, it was pretty much the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, just rolled up.
Fuck's
I'd
sake, man.
laminated this pass, and it was the first time I used the Tesco's laminator. People thought I had a brand deal from Tesco's because I just kept doubling down on that as a joke. Yeah. Anyway, went to the event, rocked up, drove it to London, blah blah, blah, and
So you went on your own.
yeah, loner. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
mad because
by
I often
myself.
get confident in numbers. I'm one of these guys where if I'm with my mates, I'll act like I'm way harder than I am.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
am.
Yeah.
But you've driven from where?
Midsummer Norton in Somerset. Town of 10,000.
To go and eat birthday cake.
That
Yeah,
some
yeah,
That is
pilgrimage,
fucking
that's
nuts.
got
It
his
was a
own- his own suit,
pilgrimage.
like, go
I
on.
remember like driving into London. I'd never driven to London before, and I was like, I was listening to Eminem, just hyping myself up. I was like, come on. And yeah, got there and shat myself for a little while. But yeah, I
I'd
prevailed.
feel uncomfortable going to an event that I've paid for on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true. So when you got there, you get there equipped with your pass, your camera,
Your suit from graduation.
your suit.
Yes,
how?
mate.
Talk us through the steps. What happens?
So you find a car park. No, you basically just rock up to the event. You see, there was a massive queue around the outside of the building, so I knew those kind of like doors, which are the regular doors, they're kind of easy because it's hectic, and the people who are doing the tickets, there's like people everywhere. It's like one in. So I originally tried to get through one of those doors, and they were like, they saw my credentials, and they were like, oh no, you're on this one. And I was like, oh shit. Okay, so they kind of just glanced at it. They thought it was legit. So then I get behind Mayweather's crew, and I still don't know who this guy is. I think his name's Sam, but he's big in the boxing world, basically. And I recognise him, didn't know his name or his role, but I basically scooched in behind them, and I was pressed up behind this boxer called Joseph Joyce or something like that. And
Right.
he's like a heavyweight champion, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't know him at the time, just seen he's a massive guy.
Mm.
So I was kind of like shimmying behind him, and they all just got clicked through because they're like VIPs, and I was just in the midst of these VIPs. So I just got waved on through. the scanners went off, beep beep beep, beep, everything, and they were just like, "No, keep going." And I had my camera, everything. I could have had anything on me, to be fair, but yeah, at that point I was in, and then the next level was like backstage, and that was when I was like kind of faced with the first issue, which was like, where the fuck do I go? And then will these passes work? Yeah, everything just fell into place and it worked like
Fucking hell.
clockwork.
What was the story you said, I think on your channel, where you said about the guy said it wasn't the right pass, but luckily you had like a...
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So the door that I get down, there's two doors as you get in. The main door to the spectator area where all the riffraff was going.
So where was this?
Then-
Sorry, this was Wembley, was it?
Like me saying this, yeah. Wembley SSE Arena. They hate me. But, yeah, Wembley staff. So yeah, I find this backstage door, and it's just an inconspicuous little door. I originally walk into someone's office, and I was like, "Oh shit, sorry." I was like, "Do you know where backstage is?" And she pointed me in the right direction. There was just one guy, and I'm not even kidding when I say this. He was sat on the bench, like opposite this door, just staring at the wall. And yeah, and he was the first guy. So I walked through the first set of doors, and I'm like, shit. And this is in the vid, like I'm reacting like in real time, like what the fuck's just happened? I think I'm like the next door is backstage. Open the door, and then there's this big guy, and he basically like grabs the pass, and he's got this whole kind of like thing on the wall of the passes that are allowed down. There's only one that's allowed, and that's a blue one. So he grabs my yellow pass because I came prepared, which was a media pass saying, "Nope, like this isn't the right one." So I was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure there's just a mix-up." Blah blah. Went back, went into the toilet, switched passes with the blue one that I made, and next thing you know,
Boom.
boom.
We're
shakes
in.
You're
down.
straight
I'm like,
through.
you never guessed what. It was a mix-up at the desk. Yeah, there's shit up there. Yeah.
So it was purely by chance that you'd made a blue one, or is it because you saw on the guys?
So I knew that was like the top tier, and I didn't want to take the piss. I'm a humble guy. I didn't want to go in as a promoter. I was fucking 12 at the time. Right? So yeah, I tried my luck with the media because I had the camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I walked by, and obviously media wasn't enough. So I convinced this guy, and I was kind of gauging his response.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm meant to have one of those. Like, let me go and check. And he was like, yeah, cool. So I just balled in at that point. I was like, I need to get it through this next layer. And I was like, yeah, mate, they got it wrong. And yeah, I treated him right though. I bought him a pint, and like, he was in my back pocket for the rest of the day. It was all good.
So then
Fair play.
you've got to the ultimate bit. You've got into McGregor's dressing room or whatever. Was it his dressing room?
Sounds weird.
Was it?
Yeah, it was his dressing room.
Yeah.
Right. So at that point, I was ringside, so I was with the VIP lot, and I was kind of just waiting for showtime. Text Jamie saying, "What can I do to make this kind of like a good vid?" make
Where
it
are you
worth
at the
it?"
time?
In the pub.
Nothing to do with it.
Yeah. So were you watching it on TV?
I don't even know if it was on TV. No, I think I was just in the pub. I was thinking of this, yeah. But I was
6 pints
I was
down.
thinking about it. 'Cause it
Yeah.
was like, oh, I'm backstage in McGregor's dressing room. What should I do? And I originally texted him like 3 days earlier to say, you should go to the event. So when he texted me saying, I'm in the dressing room, I was like, oh, nice one, mate.
That's mad.
Don't know, what can you do?
Yeah. So then
Class.
it was a case of waiting until like the actual event was on, and I basically just followed McGregor's crew, and then he got announced, and I was like just part of the crew basically from that point onwards.
And no one
But
questioned
yeah,
it.
it's mad that no one questioned it.
Yeah, it's very weird that no one did.
So just to paint more of a picture, like, so you got this group of people. Are they all like chatting amongst themselves, and you're just sort of like keeping yourself to yourself?
So the crew, it's a weird setup because he's got. I didn't know anyone. I knew McGregor and I knew Mayweather, and I recognised a few of the boxing heads, but I'm not in the MMA world. I don't really care
Yeah.
about boxing, which kind of did me. I wasn't nervous at that point because I didn't know who anyone was. So I was with this crew, and it turns out it was like his manager, his private security. There was about 4 of them. His personal videographer and his personal photographer, and then just me, like filming at the side. And if anyone would have like just clocked out of their headspace and just looked at me, they'd have been like, "Who the fuck is that
Yeah,
guy?"
exactly. That's what I can't get.
Yeah,
how
how-
the fuck did they not just think, like, who the fuck is this kid? Like, what the
I
fuck?
don't fucking
That's
know.
mad.
Yeah, and then I got a lot
It's
of questions after
mental.
saying, "You're not like worried about getting like banged out because you're there with
True.
one of the hardest guys in the world, arguably."
Yeah.
And but yeah, no, I just stayed off a little bit.
Did
and
you
that-
get to speak to him?
mental.
No, I fucked that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the biggest regret of the whole thing. So I waited round, and I did the whole. I got announced, walked out with them when he was getting announced. I did the whole ringside thing, and then as he was like getting ushered backstage, I then followed him as part of the crew, and then I was in his dressing room, and at that point he did one interview, and then it was kind of like private time. They shut the door, and it was like his 30th birthday, which I didn't know, and there was a cake on the side with his name on it. They cut the cake. They all like had a big.
So
cake.
when they shut the door, you're still in there?
I was deep in there because I'd followed the media guys in because I was like, there was one interview, I didn't know where it went, but like an official looking interview. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you could see me in the background. Like, I kind of like walked in and then walked round the back, and I was just by here. I was by a fruit bowl and I was by the cake. That's all I remember. And then
Was that a decent cake?
It was Irish flag.
Oh, right. Right.
Yeah.
Little caterpillar
It was
cake.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's caterpillar cake.
So how many people were in that room at this point?
It was literally a handful. It was about like 8 or 9 people.
So
How-
that's when they should
how
be
are
looking
you
at you.
invisible?
Yeah, because I would have.
Talk
I
about
was stuck
hiding
up
in
like a
plain
sore thumb.
sight.
I was
Fuck
like
me.
secretly filming, so I was probably looking down at my camera, dead nervous half the time, and I was just there chatting to no one. I wasn't even fucking attempting to speak to anyone. So I was literally there, and they were discussing like what needs to be said at the press conference, and then he was like, "I need to get home by like 1 a.m. because like his kid needed going to bed or some shit like that." And then at that point, it was like the press conference area, and I was just with the crew at that point. So I was like side of stage. I had the best seat in the house.
Fuck.
And then it was like the
hell.
last stage of that was like the world's press. So it was like the whole of the world's press. You got the Americans, everything hustling for a spot. And I just basically stood at the end of the queue. And the idea was to ask him a question which I got off of Reddit, which is like, what would win in the fight out of 20 duck-sized horses or one horse-sized duck? A classic. So I was going to replace like the horse with like Mayweather and just ask him that. He probably would have chinned me if I asked him it.
One duck-sized Mayweather.
Yeah, or 20 Mayweather. No, yeah,
20
one
20
Mayweather
ducks.
size-
Oh no, because if you
Yeah,
have
one
20
Mayweather-sized duck or 20 duck-sized Mayweathers.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
I think it'd be all right just fighting one Mayweather duck.
Sweet, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck.
He would have actually won that one.
But yeah,
Sorry.
So I'm
Oh.
stood there waiting for him to do his whole like official press stuff, and I was just fucking dead nervous at the point. It kind of like the tension was building the closer he got to me, and I just crumbled. It like nothing came out when I went to talk. He looked at me in the eye, and then he moved on within like 2 seconds because I bitched
Yeah.
out, and yeah, that was the big
Yeah,
regret.
you
out
can't
of it.
keep
mate,
yourself for that.
no.
Chalk that up as a win.
Yeah,
100%. Chalk
Overall.
up was when you looked him in the eye.
Yeah.
Mate, 100%. Like, you got yourself there. Fair play, mate.
So
Fucking hell.
65 million views.
on Facebook.
That's
yeah.
crazy viral. So clearly
Yeah.
he must have seen it.
Yeah, I like to think so. His team got in contact. They definitely saw the vid, and that's his like close, intimate Irish team. And they wanted to do an article, and I just kind of forgot to reply, so they didn't do the article.
Fuck's
But
sake.
my whole like, I wanted after that was successful, and I was like, shit, this has done well. My thinking was then, right, he could fly me out to Vegas to get into the fight, and I had no money at the time, so that was like the ideal situation. So after that, I was kind of like begging it on the email, like, oh, the guys fancy doing something, and then some Irish bloke with a ukulele sang a McGregor like song, and he went viral, and then he got flown out instead of me.
You
So
missed a chance.
So it
that's,
could have been you.
Yeah, that's how it ended.
Fuck's
Oh, man.
sake.
But
Heartbroken.
still, fucking hell of a story.
Yeah, fair play.
Hell of a
Yeah, it was-
story,
it was
mate.
And we've actually got that on the camera now. So,
Yay!
Oh, this is fun. I'm having a great time.
You're all
That's
right.
it.
You're all right. Another video that I love from you guys is the Louis Theroux one.
Yeah,
Obviously, you got to meet the big man
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
because everyone our age fucking loves Louis Theroux. He is a meme now by this
Yeah.
point. But
It's weird how much people like him, isn't it?
yeah,
He's
I mean,
beloved.
like even if you don't watch his documentaries, you can't help but fucking love him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so how did
Not
that come
laughing at
about?
So it was our mates who were running events in Bristol, and they run the Louis Theroux appreciation event. So it went all over the country, and they did do all sorts of club nights. I think they did an ABBA tribute night where.
How have you been to one of these club nights, Louis
No,
Theroux
I'd
ones?
love
What
to,
do they
yeah.
do?
I would really love to.
I reckon
we
they're like-
actually had to say this on the show,
Yeah,
so I
we-
know exactly what they do.
Okay,
We kind of
explain.
had to make it up though. I don't know.
What is a Louis
Oh, yeah,
Theroux
shit, we
club
did
night?
make it up.
They asked me on the phone when I was speaking to the BBC person, like, what kind of shit do you do? And I was like, we project his face on the wall. We've got cardboard cutouts everywhere.
I think we said shrine.
Shrine.
And
yeah,
at
we got
one
Louis
point,
Theroux
everyone gets
shrine.
on their knees and bells. They were lapping it up.
I
as
said
well.
girls take the tops off and throw it onto stage and shit. I'm not sure if they bought that last bit, but they lapped up the rest of it.
Fantastic.
I bet he loved it deep down though.
Yeah. He seemed a little excited. Yeah. Oh, when's the next one? But yeah, so our mates run those events and they run the Facebook page. And Louis Theroux was going on the One Show because he was, I think,
New
released a new
documentary,
documentary. Yeah. So they had all sorts of Louis Theroux. They had a couple that had actually met each other because one of them had on the Tinder profile, "I'm looking for a Louis Theroux super fan," and that's how they got together. So they were on the show.
Such a meme. Such
Yeah,
a meme.
he is that guy, isn't he? And so yeah, the BBC commented on their Facebook page. Our mates didn't want to do it and said, "Do you fancy going on the one show with?"
Because it's
Louis
the one
Theroux.
show and it's shite. And whoever
I was going to
watches
say, if
that is
they've put the effort into actually making this event, why are they turning
Yeah,
Louis
I'm not sure.
Theroux
I
down?
I think it was more that like who watches the one show and it's like kind of people over the age of no
Yeah.
one's gonna go clubbing.
Yeah,
No, I guess.
but they should have done what you done and just went on to the piss a
To be
little
honest,
bit.
I think that was their.
We are an
thinking is-
extension of them.
Yeah,
their thinking
yeah.
was, we could go on and take the piss and have fun, or we could watch Zac and Jay go on, take the piss and have even more fun. 'cause
Yeah.
they go even
Fair,
further.
fair, fair.
So yeah, we the BBC rang us up. We created the email address eventfulevents@gmail.com.
Creative. I like it.
Obviously, we have to run events with an email like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, from there went down. I was in Manchester, Zach was in Bristol, and went down, made it happen. Went on national TV, didn't we?
And you were stood next to the big man.
Stood next to the big man.
Bowed to the big man.
Yeah.
How else do you greet him?
Yeah.
We wanted to do a poem, so we had wrote a poem backstage, and we spent like a little 10 minutes on before show time, and we wanted to do it just to make the vid better, basically.
Yeah.
And they squeezed us so hard on time that the only thing we could do that was of any kind of like notability was just bow to the guy. So yeah, that was our little.
What was he like in the short space that you get to speak to him?
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah,
He's just like he is in the documentary. Dead calming. When he speaks, you listen.
And this is why people love him.
He was great, wasn't he? He was great.
Yeah, no, he was.
Did you get to speak to him much off of camera, or was it very much?
To be honest, this was a bit weird, and we got a bit of a bone to pick with this guy actually. But there was a photographer there, and they were taking pictures of Louis Theroux and the two hosts. I forget the name, Alex Jones, and I forget the other guy's name. And yeah, we were like, "Oh, can we get a photo, please? We've just travelled down from Manchester and Bristol." And he was like, "No," and we're like, "Mate, we're getting a fucking photo." So just said, "Louis, are we okay to get a photo?" And he said, "Yeah, that's fine." And the guy said, "Okay." Took the photo, and we asked for him to send us the next day. Oh, it got lost. So
Oh, fuck
Whoa.
off.
yeah, I mean, we could have a great photo of Louis Theroux right now
Yeah.
with the benches behind us on the TV.
What a
light and
dick.
shit,
That's
and,
fucking shit.
no.
What?
Yeah.
What does he get out of that?
Yeah. So if
He
you are
wasn't-
watching,
he was
like,
with the BBC as well, not Louis Theroux.
That's
so I
even
don't know.
weirder.
Yeah, really weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've invited you down, but you're not allowed any photos.
Yeah.
so if Louis Theroux ever stumbles across this video, then you owe these chaps a photo. So
There we
get-
go.
get-
would
I love
to
your
think that
wishful
you've seen it.
thinking.
Yeah.
Going, Louis
All-
Theroux would love the happy
I
hour.
know he's not, but I but we deleted the footage of their first 40 minutes, so I feel like I owe them something, for fuck's
That's
sake.
If you
it.
could
That's
do that,
it.
that'd be great. Well, one funny little side story to that though, we got invited on a podcast after that, which is what was it called?
The
It was the
One
one show. And apparently there's a whole subgenre of like podcasts that break down Game of Thrones, like the big TV shows. And it's just 3 comedy writers for like some big TV shows, and they just get together, they get pissed, and they fucking rip apart the one show 'cause they hate it. So we got invited on because they thought we were legit, and they tweeted us. They were like, "We'd love to have you on the show." And then yeah, we went and chatted with them for about like
Yeah.
an hour.
So when they met you, was it clear that you were taking the
Oh
piss?
yeah, because they had seen the vid after we had released it, and they were
right.
like, "This is even fucking better." So they got us on.
Yeah.
And, but just to know that there's 4 full-grown men with families who just rip
Yeah,
apart the one
yeah,
show and
yeah,
everything
yeah.
they do week on week religiously as
Yeah.
well.
It was funny because he said the worst thing about doing that is that he actually has to
Watch
watch
the
it. But of
one
course
show.
He's gotta watch it. He's got to rip into it. It's like, it's fucking great sometimes. I've got to watch the one show.
That's quality. Has any? I know you guys do other things than the sneaking in, which we'll get to in the second part. But with the sneaking in videos, has it ever come to a point where one of you or both of you have got in trouble? Like, have you ever been arrested or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't get to tell your arrest story last time, the one from Bristol.
When did I
'Cause
get
that-
arrested?
This is the
Is he
state of him when
always
got
drunk?
arrested.
Louis Theroux might listen to this, and my mum might listen to it. No, I'm not joking.
Yeah,
When did I
but
get
like,
arrested?
so a lot of the sneaking stuff is on my personal channel, so that's where it all kind of like started, and that's when Jamie got a bit of notoriety of being the fucking Carl Pilkington of my channel,
Right.
essentially.
Yeah.
So a lot of pretty much 90% of the clips, you're pretty drunk. So we were backstage at like a Bristol festival, and I was like, at the time, just wanting to get the best footage. So I was on stage, kind of giving it all the angles, and they thought I was meant to be there. And meanwhile, Jamie was just having fun by himself in his own little world. He was in a high vis jacket,
Is this when I was trying to get the
Yeah,
artist on
yeah.
stage? Yeah, because I don't see that as getting nearly arrested. I just see that as getting
No, because
bit of a
once
slap
you got
on the
kicked out, you did get arrested and thrown in a police van. Do you
Yeah,
not remember
but,
that?
but,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
can,
but
can you
that's
can you
not
not tell that
anything
he's
to
going
do
shut the
with
fuck up?
No,
Shut
no,
the
actually, no, that was I sort of like a couple of bruises. But, no, like so this was a bit of a weird one. So I got booted out for asking. Oh yeah, so the first bit of the story was had a few to drink, was having a bit of a laugh. Big Nasty was there, Izzy Gibbs was there, and I was on the stage and I was asking other people for their wristbands to get on the stage. I was like, "Have you got a stage wristband?" And obviously no one fucking had one because they didn't exist. And I asked the stage manager for a stage wristband, who obviously knew that there was no fucking stage wristbands because he'd be in charge of them if there was.
Yeah.
So I got kicked out pretty quickly. Again, I think Big Nasty, I'd already told him that I'd snuck in and shit.
You made it to a Snapchat story.
Yeah, and I made it to his Snapchat story with his famous
fuck.
laugh going on in the background. And he's like, fuck off, with a drunk self. Yeah, just got booted out. And
'Cause
then,
That's the thing. Like these people you do it to, like these artists, they probably don't give a fuck. They probably find it
Oh, no,
funny.
yeah.
But it's more
It
so
is.
the teams around them.
Yeah, it is. Because, I mean, to complete that story.
yeah, I mean, so I got booted out, but then I got arrested for having a knife, which I just didn't have.
Really?
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, so you
That's
got
what I mean.
dark
That's
at
why I was
that
like,
point.
what? I got arrested for sneaking in. Yeah, so I just for some weird reason, I got rushed by the police, arrested me, put me in the van. I was like, what the fuck have I done? What the fuck have I done? Literally, what the fuck have I done? I was in the back of a van for like 5-10 minutes, and then got released, and they searched me and shit. And I was like, what have I actually fucking done? They went, oh, there was reports you had a knife. And I think they must have thought it was someone else or something.
Or do you
Yeah.
reckon maybe like they want us to take you away, but they knew they had to do it on some kind of grounds, so they said, "Oh, you had a grenade, knife."
Yeah.
What's the bazooka?
Maybe, but they didn't really take me anywhere. I was just sat in the back, like quietly.
You got
just
back
a
in
bit like, what the
afterwards,
fuck's going
but-
on?
And you got back in.
Oh yeah, I wasn't. There's fucking another 3 hours left. I wasn't gonna leave. I actually paid a guy who was actually legitimately there picking up litter to get his high vis, just so I could pick up some litter with a bin bag, and then I got
So it's
back
that easy. I think
Mental.
what it is people think it's so hard, but it's just having the balls to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like,
that was when we first started it. It was like, what could be done? What could be done? What could be done? And that's kind of where we got to with the Olympics. When we got on the bus and just fucked around and like with everyone thinking the Olympics were a day, and then we pretty much realised that anything can be done.
We've done the water bottles. The first one we tried, because we wrote I remember we wrote like a shared Google Docs, and we like mapped out these like Mission Impossible kind of plans, and one of them was like the water bottle tricks.
Yeah,
we
one
just
of my
bought-
favourites. This is the first festival we ever
Dress
did
up like in a black kind of tee with a tea towel hanging out your back pocket, so you look like you work at a burger van. And we bought like a crate of water for like £4 or whatever. And you walk straight in, literally through the artist entrance, past like I think it was like a total of 8 security guards.
Yeah.
Just walked straight on in, and then he sold the water, made £40 profit
Yeah,
within
I
the
sold,
first
I
half an
sold
hour.
each water bottle for £2 each, so it was actually like
That's
50 quid
cheap at
up.
a festival.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
cheap.
I actually wanted to get rid of him, to be honest. I didn't want to be at the headline stage and like, oh,
Yeah.
money water. I just wanted to,
You
yeah,
guys
just
have
be-
made this sound so easy. Like,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
easy.
it's- it's-
because you're I'm sure there's other people out there that do this, but because you're really smashing it, especially with that viral video, the Conor one and stuff, I think it's safe to say you're at the top of this game. Do you worry about like, because you come on here and you say how easy it is, do you worry about copycats?
I mean, there is definitely
Yeah.
copycats. Like the last one we done last summer, it was kind of like a goodbye to that stream of content. I felt like I was in a bit of a rut with it. I wanted to do other stuff just outside of it, but we had like 2 days at this one festival. The first day, it was 7 or 8 of us that we all got in as bin men within the space of like 15 minutes. It was just a whole swarm of bin men just going towards the entrance.
Wow.
And day 2 was us trying to get our mate in. So we got a big bin and we just chucked him inside it and we just pushed him towards the artist entrance. That one actually didn't work, but it was that close to working.
It could have worked if we actually spent a tiny, like if we put the cardboard on top of his head, it would have worked.
Yeah. But,
I saw the Ed Sheeran one you done,
yeah.
and that it kind of worked, but you didn't get all the way. You didn't get to meet him. So what would you say if we chalk that up as a fail, which it isn't
Yeah.
really, because you still went fucking big
Yeah,
on that.
yeah.
What would you say is the success rate of these videos and even ones that didn't make YouTube? Like, what's the success rate of getting into these places?
Festivals,
Festivals is a good
100%.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Of
A
getting
good
into the
100%.
festival, but like getting backstage is a 90%.
Yeah, the one that was the hardest one to date, and I'll give them credit for this because they were pretty pissed off that I released of it. They tried getting it down, was Wireless Fest. So that was last summer. our first kind of like summer in London, there was rumors that Drake was there, and obviously if you can get Drake in a vid, that's it. So this was
Yeah.
at the time where the World Cup was on.
Right.
So the whole gist of the vid was to get backstage and ask Drake just one question: do you think it's coming home? And because he's so tuned into the UK culture, if he had said it's coming home, then that would
would have
just
been
fucking
huge.
blown.
Yeah.
So that was the concept behind the vid. But like to get in, bin man secured, we was in like straight away. But there was levels to that security like no other. So we had like a pass. I had a camera, and I got through into the VIP bit. But Jamie gets rumbled by this massive guy who just says like, "Do you think I'm a dickhead?" So Jamie's by
He
himself.
starts taking it quite personally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was backstage at this point, and I wanted to get to the front of stage, but there's never normally like anything else. Once you pass the first layer, it's normally kind of just free game backstage. But this one, you had to get escorted by someone who works at the festival to another place. So I actually, this is kind of like against what we usually do, but I took a pass from Constantine, who edits for like the Sidemen.
I think he does True Geordie as well. Yeah.
And so he saw me, gave me a pass, and was like, "Fucking on with the mission." And as I was getting escorted, I kid you not, and this was when rumors hadn't even been fully confirmed yet. There was a pack of wristbands on the floor, and I just saw this like glinting little Scorpion, which was the album that Drake had released at the time.
Yeah.
So I just fucking like nonchalantly dropped down, picked him up, and this is the shit that happens in the vids that everyone thinks is fake because. In what other circumstance do these things
It seems like
happen?
too much of a coincidence.
Yeah.
doesn't-
So at that point, I'd open it up. There was about 6 wristbands. I gave 2 to Con, like, and 1 to the photographer guy that helped. And at that point, yeah, me and him, like, for the rest of the night, we watched from the crowd. But then we were in the most exclusive, like, Drake backstage
it was sick.
after party
Fuck.
ever. And like even like UK kind of like artists could not get in without a wristband.
Yeah,
it
that's
was
mental.
so yeah. It was
And so you literally just found them on the
Frank
floor.
Montana was there. Brooklyn Beckham was there.
Lil Pump.
Drake, yeah, Lil Pump was there. Drake came out to get a drink, and I was stood at the bar just as he was doing it. Oh, Tim Westwood was there. I said hello to him.
Of all the people.
Yeah.
I said, how was your day, mate? He was like, yeah, I was knackered. I've been asleep by a tree for an hour. I was like, all right, mate. I was like 60 to be fair.
Fucking hell.
But yeah, he came out to get a drink. They shut down the bar. He was like, Drake's coming. To see what he wanted. I swear he had a look and then said a few things to his mate and then went back into the thing. But yeah, he was on an
Wow.
operation when he
Free
that close to
Nando's,
Drake.
everything.
That's free Nando's.
That's how he rolls.
That's mad.
But yeah, that was one of the hardest that is like kind of
Yeah.
ever been. But in general, the festival stuff's easy. The big kind of events in venues are then harder, and they've since like clocked on to who I am because
Yeah.
So with
Since-
the festival stuff, we're obviously now going back into festivals.
Yeah.
Are you going to try it
We
this year
are.
now that they're clocking on?
yeah, well,
I feel like we've
as much as we want to like distance ourselves from it, it's just so much fun,
Yeah.
and we know we're going to be at festivals this summer.
So what's the point in paying?
I
That's
think
what I
I think the
mean.
videos are so fun and so enjoyable that I think you kind of have
Just
to
keep
just do
it.
it.
Keep riding
we've
it.
been at a stage with sneaking in now where we've tested the small shit with the high vis shit with the high vis, like just trying to get in. Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that. We've gone big with like the Olympics and Conor McGregor and getting in the ring with AJ, and now I think we're at the third like the phase of sneaking in where we're just gonna fucking take the piss. So we have
Yeah.
one idea where
Yeah.
we
Chinese
sneak
Dragon.
into Chinese
Yeah,
Dragon,
that's it.
where like
Inside a costume.
we've got to pretend that we're going on stage for like a headline act, so we'll all just go in with a big Chinese Dragon.
Yeah.
And then we've got another one where there's horse racing happening, where we'll go to Epsom and we'll get on a fucking horse with like a full jockey outfit and see if we can get in on a horse. Just like, you know, that third layer of just taking
Yeah.
the fucking
Because then
piss.
even
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
don't
yeah.
get in, people know you can do it now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that's
funny.
kind of lost a tiny bit of the magic. So now even if you don't get in, they'll
Yeah.
admire your balls.
Can we get in
Absolutely.
with 8 dwarfs all running around? It's all
Yeah,
like, just taking the
yeah,
piss.
That's
yeah,
quality.
man.
So now
Right.
I know before we go to a break, I just want to. I know we've had this before, but you've been in trouble. We know that, Jay. What about
Been in
what about
trouble.
you?
Yeah, this is the one arrest. Yeah.
Right.
So just to paint a picture, this venue, unnamed venue, have we named it in this take?
I don't
I'm
think
not
so.
too
No,
sure.
we haven't named the venue in this
Nah,
take.
I
They
think
know who
so.
they are. The same one as the McGregor, basically. So they know who I am. Like 60 whatever million views. Turned me into like a nobody to someone with a few subscribers.
Yeah.
So the security team were basically briefed on me. That was the kind of thinking going into it. But it was the first day that I was moving to London. I had my van packed with like all my moving in shit. I just thought, look, I'd try it. So again, put on the same suit. Literally, the only disguise was a pair of glasses, and that was kind of it. I rocked up, And the event had like Eminem, it had Sadiq Khan, I had like a few big names there.
Yeah. Eminem,
Sadiq
Sadiq
Khan. Hell of a duo.
What's he? Is he from D12?
They had an album out together. Didn't they?
The only reason I remember that is because that's what the police told me as the reason why I was getting fucking arrested that
Right.
night, because he was in the building, not Eminem,
Yeah.
but him. So the goal with that one was to get backstage, and I wanted a clip of me basically holding the camera up and say, "Will the real Slim Shady please stand up?" and then him pop up in the background.
Right.
He probably wouldn't have done it, but
Yeah.
that was the thinking. So I knew the venue at this point. I had passes. Literally, I got onto the red carpet and I was there with like again the world's press, and it was just a weird kind of like environment. So I went into the main arena.
How did you have the passes for this one?
Oh, so, right, okay. So this one actually was a high profile person. I think no, the BAFTAs was fucking who was that? The one that,
Hang
the
on,
one
whoa,
that-
fuck. Whoa,
I like how
whoa,
natural
whoa,
it is.
Whoa, you
I
snuck
knew you were
into the
thinking
Carolyn
BAFTAs.
Flack
Yeah,
gave
yeah.
us one. That's a separate story. That's the BAFTAs. But no, this
Sorry.
one was from like another presenter who was backstage, and they just can't help. Like I don't know whether they're contractually
fucking
obliged to
love it,
like
don't they?
boast where they are backstage, but
Yeah.
the pass was there, and I basically whipped it up. Yeah, so I had the passes, legitimate passes. They just wasn't shiny, basically. But at a glance, you kind of like they look legit.
Yeah.
So yeah, getting the same entrance as I did with McGregor. And it was as simple as that. The same backstage door. Pretty sure it was the same guy on the bench staring at the wall. I went down the backstage thing, and I was like fully prepared now. I was like, "There's got to be security at the next checkpoint." But before that was like an entrance to a bar. So I was like, "Right, let's have a little celebration. Let's get a drink." Because I thought they'd be free. And the second I walked through that door, literally the woman that was in my McGregor video, who I walked into her office, and she pointed me in the direction of the door that I ended up getting in. And yeah, she goes, "Mr. Allsop," and I'll never forget it because she's like Scottish and it just goes through me. But she was like, "Mr. Allsop, have you got a pass this time?" And I was like, fuck. So I went up to her and just to see if she'd take it as a joke and like she actually cared, but she fucking cared. So she got on the phone with security, and then I got escorted into like a room similar to this with like 5 security guards. There was like a profile of my face on the table with like kind of a photo, my name, age, like what I do, and like notable sneak-ins and shit like that. And then it was like game over from that.
I love
point.
how
It was,
prepared they were for you specifically. Forget the
Yeah.
terrorists.
Yeah.
Mr. Allsop's coming.
Yeah, that's the security were fine. Like the security, genuinely, the guy that escorted me in, he was like, "Look, we've all had to watch your video as part of the training," and they said, "Mate,
As
fucking
part
fair
of
play,
the
it's
fucking
hilarious."
training, that's class.
Yeah, literally.
That's fucking
I was
amazing.
like, "How the fuck did I get in the same door then?" But anyway,
Yeah.
Someone hasn't watched it.
That's it.
So
The guy staring at the wall. One.
Yeah.
So I
He
spent-
just what? You got the blue one this time. Go on, fucking.
in you go, in you go. But no, I spent the next 40 minutes, which is where I fucked up, arguing with the guy from MTV. They didn't want the vid to go out, like obviously, because it looks bad on them, and I wanted the vid to go out.
Yeah.
So SD card was in the sock, and it was a stalemate basically. So it was like, "I'll get the police," and I was like, "Get the police," and then yeah, I sat there kind of just arguing my point,
Yeah.
and they were trying to make me feel bad about there being 5 of them, and it's like 5 police officers' time that I'm wasting, and I was like, with all
Don't
due
send
respect,
them
I'm
then.
speaking to you, not these other guys. And then like 10 minutes later, they're all gone, and I'm getting arrested under terrorism charges. So yeah,
So
I just-
fucking
Do you,
stupid.
do you think, much like yours, that they pinned that on you just as a reason to take you down?
100%, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, I realized there was a point where I realized I fucked up. It was like an awakening. I was so into just genuinely having a conversation about how they felt with the ethics. Obviously, like on the table was like Nightscape, Ali Law, all these kind of
Shamima
notable
Begum.
dickheads on YouTube.
Wow.
Sorry. Resist. Resist.
But anyway, enemy of security. So I was actually having a conversation that I was enjoying. Turns out I was just denting his ego, and he was really pissed off.
Wow.
So I just kind of quieted down, and he was like, "Oh, you've changed your tone," and I was like, "Oh god, if I can get out without getting arrested, like my girlfriend's expecting me like to move in the next like hour or 2 hours ago. I've been in this room for like 3 hours."
Yeah.
So, yeah, it got really kind of hairy.
Did you
and
have
they
to,
were
so you
like-
stayed in a cell?
stayed in the cell. Yeah, they basically they said, "Look, we're gonna arrest you." And at that point, I was like, "All right, fucking hell." So then, yeah, it was kind of like game over. I was in my suit with my camera, looking pretty dapper, rolling into like Wembley police station, and the arresting officer. This is what I liked. They had to kind of tell the officer in the office basically what I was arrested for. And they were like, "This one's been under section blah blah blah, the Terrorism Act." And the guy, no joke, like cracked a little laugh. He was like, all right, okay, let's get you written up. At that point,
I
realised
bet he's going, I can't wait to hear this.
Yeah.
Face of ISIS there.
Yeah.
the initial threats of like the kind of I was gonna get interrogated by the anti-terrorism group and shit like that, they started falling apart, and then I just realised I need to have fun. So I was kind of thinking at that point the vid's still safe, the SD card's still in my sock. The police didn't really have any interest in the vid not going out. It was more MTV. So I was like, right, I'm chilling. I had my microwave lasagna, I had my water, and I had a little nap. And this guy
Even got his head down.
Yeah, got
That's
his
it,
head
that's
down.
calm
class,
about
isn't
it.
it?
If that was me, I'd be sat there rocking, going, I need to get out. I need to get out. He's like, I'll
Scratching the
kids.
walls.
Yeah.
But no,
Big
I
lips, man, I'm moving in.
yeah, I knew that I was getting under the arresting officer's skin because literally every 20 minutes he would open the hatch and he would be like, do you want to do the interview now? Because we can probably get you home by 3 a.m. And I was like, no, I'm right. You said I'm allowed a lawyer, right? And he was like, yeah, okay. And he would literally do this every like 20 minutes. So I knew that he wanted me to do the interview without anyone.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's just me doing the interview. Like, obviously, we'll just like get into things. And I was like, nope. I'm chilling. So I waited until I think it was like 6:30, the time of the interview, where this poor lawyer.
What, in the morning?
Yeah, had to get out of bed to come and just do this little interview.
Fuck, that's his job.
Yeah, her.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay.
2019.
So
Sorry.
yeah, she rocks up to the thing, and the first thing she says is like, "You're legally allowed to keep a copy of the CD." And at that point, I was like, "Fucking right!" This 3 hours of like chilling in the cell has been worth it. So at that point, I was like, "I'm gonna have as much fun in the interview as I can." And the guy was trying. It was weird. He was trying to trip me up into saying like. He was trying to ask who my subscribers were, and I was like, I don't know, they're just people on the internet. He's like, right, so is it fair to say they could be bad people? And I was like, well, I don't fucking know.
Do you get a lot of alarg bars in the comments? And
Some of them are brown.
But yeah,
Whoa.
at that point, it was kind of like I was just having fun with it. So that kind of happened. I made sure to get the CD, and he didn't want to give it to me. He gave all my stuff back, and I was like, "Am I going to get that CD?" He was like, "Yeah, sure."
So keen for
I
it.
waited for half an hour after I was done just to get the CD. I
Fair
genuinely
play,
did.
man.
I love the
and-
commitment.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
So at that point, I had the CD, and
then you just
it
went,
was-
ISIS is going to love this.
Yeah. This one's making the next training.
Jamie, get the flag out.
Jamie's waiting outside the station.
And what's happened with the CD since?
Oh, so yeah, that was a big part of the vid. The guy, I bleeped out his name, but yeah, the arresting officer, he just sounded like a bit of a knob. So I cut it up, put it in the vid, and then at the end of the vid, I had an idea as I was filming the outro, and I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna sell copies of this CD, and it was only like a fuck around. And I was like to my girlfriend in the background, I was like, what should I call the CD? Actually, no, I said, do you think it's a good idea? And she was like, it's genius if it's not illegal. So I was like, right, that is the title of the CD. I took Akon's album cover, Locked Up, and I photoshopped my face onto it.
Wow.
And, I just scribbled it out on Photoshop and put genius if not illegal. And I was like, there's 10 copies. It's my first bit of merch. Get it while you can.
That's
And,
fucking sick.
That's
yeah, so I
quality.
paid my rent that month
Boom.
with the sale. So yeah.
That's
Thanks.
incredible.
Bet if that interrogator heard this now, he'd be fucking fuming.
Yeah.
Pay your rent that month.
But that is genius, if not illegal.
It
So that
is.
is perfect.
It
Still don't
is,
know if
mate.
it's not
Fair
illegal.
play.
Yeah.
So was your
Fair
girlfriend
play.
not pissed off at all? Because you were meant to be moving in.
Well, you know the one you're allowed a one call.
Yeah.
So I was like, can I please borrow my phone? I don't know anyone's numbers. And I rang her. I was like, look, I've been arrested. I'll be home tomorrow.
Yeah.
I love how casual it is. And she's like, fucking hell, okay.
He got his sleep in. He was fine, didn't he?
That's it. That's very true.
That's
Fair
incredible.
play.
Right, there we go. We'll go for a break. When we come back, I want to speak to you boys about your new viral video that went
Yeah, yeah.
big, because we haven't spoken about that.
Yes.
And some of the other stuff you do. It's I'm enjoying this a lot. So come
Mate,
back after this.
100%.
Welcome back to Jack Mate's Happy Hour. I'm still here with Stevie. I'm still here with Jordan.
Hello.
And I'm with Zac and Jamie from the Zac And Jay Show. You changed your t-shirt, mate.
I was sweating bucket. I went out there and just went, fuck me, that's not a good look. Is
I
it?
like that
So-
we're laughing at him, but we completely understand.
100%.
Well, I was looking
I'm just
at
glad
you
I'm
in
wearing black.
Yeah, and your
like-
hoodie and your two layers.
I'm-
I was like, how are you not boiling?
I'm wearing this to hide sweat.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
dying.
I'll accept the heat,
I'm
but
dying,
that's
It was
mate.
looking good. I was stuck my forehead by the end of it. Felt like
Yeah,
the chips were coming.
And because we record like 2 or 3 of these at a time, so by the end of the day we're delirious.
But we
Yeah, I
have
mean,
spare.
my-
We always bring spare clothes. Why did you happen to have a white T-shirt with you?
Yeah, I'm actually going to France tomorrow with my mum and sister, so I'm actually going to the airport.
Oh, fair. So
Fair.
are you late now because we've had to like?
No, I mean we're going tomorrow morning.
Oh,
But,
okay.
Oh.
Oh, fair. All right, cool. So before the break, we spoke about your McGregor videos, your festival stuff like that. What were we gonna say? Oh yeah, you've recently had a viral video
Yeah.
that's gone mental.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
last night when I knew you were coming on, I went back and quickly had a look at your view counts and
Like,
everything
fuck are
like.
these guys then.
Yeah.
Cancellation.
Shit.
But it fucking shocked me because like
Wow.
that one video is how many's that on now views?
It's a 11 milli banger.
I swear it
spot
said 14.
No.
When was the last time you checked?
Oh shit. Yeah, no, definitely not 14.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, no, we check a lot.
Right, fair. That is literally more views than I've ever got on a video.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you've gone close with your girl who fucks dogs.
I think maybe I think
Bit of a comparison.
within the last day I think it's just ticked to 11 mil. But they'll be
Is
on,
it?
they'll be on, yeah, you'll be on more. Yeah.
And
So
why are people clicking on that then? Is that,
because it was literally a woman that fucked dogs.
Right.
Was that demonetized?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah, I
Most
know.
definitely.
Wow.
I know. I'm gutted. I think every like sort of banger I've had has like been demonetized. And I done a video. I signed to this network on Facebook one year. They were like, "You're one of the only channels that's going to get like monetized." It's like this beta like testing thing on Facebook.
Right.
So I was like, "Okay, cool." And the guy was like, "Yeah, next week it'll be monetized. Next week it'll be monetized." For fuck's sake! And then I got an email and he was like, "Okay, from now on it's monetized." I was like, "Okay, great." The next day I uploaded a video saying what we all think of Justin Bieber,
Yeah.
and in the video it was us listening, me listening to Baby, like, "Oh, I'm never ever gonna like this guy." Then it goes into his new stuff, and then I start getting into it,
Yeah.
and it got 11 million. Again, at 11, weirdly, 11 million in like 2 days. So I messaged the guy and was like, "Okay, how much is that?" Then he was like, "No, sorry, mate. There's a bit of an issue with it. It's going to start on Wednesday." I was like, "You prick!" For all I know, he's took the
Yeah.
earnings. And,
He's fucked off.
yeah, he's fucked off. But fair play to him. I can't. I'd do the same.
That
So.
happened, with the, that happened with the McGregor vid actually. Like I was so unused. I don't think I could monetize my channel. So I literally, when it went viral, I wasn't expecting it. I went down the coast with my missus. Literally woke up to like half a million views, and the vid wasn't monetized. And I was like, motherfucker.
Well, this is on obviously on YouTube.
Yeah, the first
Shit.
one that ever, like.
So what's it
kinda
on
took off.
now?
The McGregor one.
Yeah.
That didn't really do crazy numbers, but for at the time it's like 1.7 mil now. I think.
Right.
But yeah, when it reached a mil in a week, I was like, that's all I kind of wanted.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, that was like the goal. Just
Yeah.
make a viral vid and then you can fucking chill.
Yeah. Well,
But
that
yeah, it's not the
65 mil on Facebook is fucking.
Yeah.
I'd say that
mental.
counts as viral. Yeah.
Yeah. So your recent viral video you've had on YouTube. Tell us about that. What's the concept?
A very
always bit
last minute
weird.
one, yeah. No, yeah.
I was concerned. I was gonna say it's always a bit weird because we never really know which are gonna go viral. Like we do make videos that are kind of we're like, oh, this will go viral, this will go viral.
It's always the ones you think are going to do well, don't, and then
Yeah.
it's the unexpected ones. Yeah.
But yeah, this one was just we thought of it kind of, was it 2 days before?
Yeah,
One day
literally,
before.
yeah.
And yeah, we said the London Fashion Week's on. How can we fuck around? We said, fuck it, we'll dress our mate up in absolute shite and see if the paparazzis will go crazy. and literally, we dressing our mate up in shite is an understatement. We went to fucking town and the amount of shit we could put on
What
it.
did he have?
So, fragile tape that is usually used for packaging.
Yeah.
He had fragile down his arms, wrapped round his little tights.
I
Bicycle
thought you were going to say
shorts.
something else there.
Bicycle
Wrap around his
Wrap around
little.
his knob.
Yeah.
Well, we were trying to think of words that we could come up with out of the letters that are in
Emotional
fragile.
words that are meaningless.
Right.
So
Meaningless.
we picked apart fragile and we had like
Life rage gag roll
life rage gag roll was the end.
written on his top.
Right.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
had these shocking sunglasses with a big Z.
They
and
were
a big J
safety
coming off it.
sunglasses. Safety sunglasses.
What else did he have on? He had marigolds on with no fingertips and his mum's rug wrapped around him as well. And
He had the prison issued daps that I got when I got arrested
Yeah.
in Wembley. we got the I
Wow.
brought him. This was for day 2. Like once the first one worked, he was like, we need to go back. So yeah, the day 2 outfit was worse. Like we had his mum's rug on him, which is like a pink kind of like horrible cashmere thing, and we just kind of strapped it together with like clips, and so that looked like a fucking tea bag or something. And he looked like he was wrapped in cotton wool. And then yeah, the prison shoes were like the one which I got. Like I literally saw them because I've kept them.
Yeah.
And I just like I grabbed him on the way out, not expecting like anything. And then I was like, "You keen to wear him?" He's like, "Yeah." And then we started writing on Tipex on them, and we wrote Vardy on the side, and then we stuck like a sticker on the front of them. They looked like fucking shit. But yeah, then
You know what-
Vardy was like an ongoing theme
Yeah,
throughout
yeah.
that vid. Like he had the autobiography in a bag, and he took it out in the fashion show and shit, and he was posing with it. Just meaningless shit. But,
Yeah.
like, things that people would be like,
fuck's
yeah.
sake,
We,
man.
we bought a bag from Primark that we didn't actually use, but with the bag that you bought, you got like this transparent bag, and we wrote emotional baggage on, and had like this weird plastic heart in it. Like we literally,
Oh
That-
my
you know,
god.
like the air bubble stuff that protects
Packaging.
goods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wrapped one of them round his neck, and so he just literally was like that walking around.
That is weird because it's like it's so fucking stupid, but it does tie into the kind of shit that people do wear at these fashion things. So
Yeah.
it's not it's not out of the realms of
Yeah.
possibility.
Yeah.
Do you know
Sure.
what? Like, there was 4 main streams of comments on that vid when it went viral, and it was like the fashion people who were genuinely quite offended and was like, "This is what fashion is about. You've actually went through a design process." And still, I'd say to that, like, who the fuck are we to go through a design process?
That's like saying anyone can do it.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. The
Yeah.
barriers to entry for your fucking career choice
Yeah,
is that
it's like a
easy.
builder going
Yeah.
up to someone who's done Lego and gone, "You've had a go.
Yeah,
You may as well
yeah.
come on site on
Yeah.
Monday."
This is essentially what it's all about. So you're like, come on site tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's like 2-year-old.
Yeah.
But no, then the other one was like people saying they actually rated the outfits and they were like the fucking fashion knobheads. But
Right.
yeah, the big chunk of that was essentially just like people saying we did a good job of what we did. In terms of the brainstorming process and all that shit.
Yeah, the effort.
Really?
To me, I would never fucking wear that.
It
Like,
does go
what
to
the
show what
fuck? That's
events like that are
mad.
like.
It
That
really
is
does.
mental.
Yeah.
Because you're essentially just saying, look, we're fucking mocking you. And you're like, oh, great job. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you're oh, man. That's class, though.
But you have to admire the effort here. That's what it is. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
have to go. Fair
But you're
play.
highlighting how, I assume, you're highlighting how fucking ridiculous it is, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was,
'Cause-
that was
Yeah.
the gist of it.
And
Had
they're
a bit
applauding
funny
you. It's
too, yeah,
amazing. That's like the ultimate middle finger, and yet they're still applauding you. That's
Yeah.
brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Is there a reason why you got your mate to do it and one of you didn't do it?
So I've done a fashion week vid before, which was a similar concept, like, but I got paid by a brand, so it was a bit of it could have done better essentially. But I pretended to be what's the film? The model film. Zoolander. So I
Zoolander.
pretended to be Derek Zoolander, but I made the fake passes. It was like a normal sneak-in vid.
Yeah.
And then I wore like it was an extension of Poundland. They've got their own clothing company. This is like my first brand deal, like proper one. And I had to wear their kind of like cheap clothes, which I wasn't allowed to say in the vid.
Yeah.
And then rock up to fashion week shows and get into like the high profile events.
Right.
So I was like pretending to be this model and I was interviewing people and all that shit.
Yeah.
But the concept's kind of like a hybrid of that, where I knew what the fashion world was like, and I had witnessed it firsthand. And the first time I did it, I was not ready for it. It was fucking scenes. I just couldn't make sense of any of it. But from that, we knew that kind of there was an opportunity to just extort the fucking idiots that roll around with cameras, and yeah, that was where it was kind of like born.
So now your mate's dressed in all this stuff, walks. Did you get in the event?
We didn't, but he did. Our mate Max, yeah.
So he's vlogging it
But
like
he-
on
but
the
he
on the
actually-
quiet.
He only got in fairness due to a connection that we know who's kind of in that fashion world. So
Right.
we're like, right, there's got this guy who's dressed up in absolute shite.
Yeah.
Can we get him in? And he said, yeah, basically.
Right.
But the thing we didn't expect was when he
yeah,
got
that
in,
is true,
the
yeah.
attention that he got. So he was
Got a lot of
being
attention.
lined up for photos. He was being given like cards for agents and shit like that. He was apparently like the fucking one to watch in
Yeah.
there. And at this point, like he starts hanging around with a girl from Made in Chelsea. He's like making it to her Instagram story. Like me and him rock up because we went to Greg's while he's in there. He's going to be in there for an hour. And then we get a text from him saying, "Mate, you need to come down. Like it's not stopped since he'd been out of the show. He was just getting papped on the street. People fucking going up to him, just wanting to take his details and all sorts. And he was fully in character at this point. He was like, just speak to my agent, and he didn't have a fucking agent. There was no one there.
Wow.
So we rocked up and we were like, oh shit. And he's there with like Made in Chelsea girl, and he's just part of a clique now. He's like got
That is
fashion.
fucking mental.
Yeah.
What are these people doing? Like, surely, what if they now see that video? They must look at it and go, "For fuck's sake,
Yeah.
I'm a fraud."
We've
Yeah.
had a few people get in touch who were actually in the vid, and the fashion people are actually pretty happy that they were in it, they were kind of just like, they can laugh at it.
Right.
There was one guy who was in it who I thought was in the fashion world. He wasn't. His name's Johnny Concrete, and he's like
Of course it
basically
is.
handed.
He's a porn star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's Johnny
There was
Rockard.
actually- yeah, he knows his porn.
Fucking hell, I wasn't
God.
expecting.
Only because you commented it back.
I don't know what you're about.
Brush it with Johnny Rockard. But so this guy Johnny Concrete, he hands like a doorstop, a concrete doorstop, and it's pink in the same color as his outfit. And he's basically going around just taking the piss, as well as us, getting photos of his. He's like an architect and kind of like he makes furniture out of concrete and shit. So he gave Max, who's dressed up in his all pink shit, this concrete block. And next thing you know, he's on his website advertising this concrete block. So we put him in the vid, and we've chatted to him since. He's given us like these concrete gifts as like presents and
Yeah.
shit.
For
And he's
fuck's
a
sake,
sick.
all a bit
what
weird.
He's a
fuck?
sick guy though. He said his website traffic fucking went through the roof like after
That
that
is
So he's
vid.
just getting thousands of
Mad.
hits a day.
Yeah.
Fucking
Boys, you
mental.
fucking
We did ask him
smashing it.
how many he sold as the result. He said none. So he's got.
Because you did belittle the product as well. So we'll send people there, but they're going to point, laugh, and then click off.
Yeah.
Not my
Fuck's
10.
sake. So why? Because you go big on all of your videos. So why do you think this one video like kind of skyrocketed above all the others?
It's in a world where people love to laugh at. People from the outside don't understand it, and they love to laugh at the like pretentious kind of idea of. And in reality, it makes sense. Like the comments that I was reading saying it's all like an artistic expression and shit. It's not actually going to be in the stores, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's like once it's on YouTube, like the whole point of the vid was just to have fun essentially, and we had a lot of fucking fun filming it. But yeah, it was
But it was a bit weird. Like it went when we knew it was going to do well. Like it was getting more views than we would normally. Kind of probably about double that after the first day. But then it hit the first page of Reddit, and then you're like, oh shit, that's what happened with the McGregor video as well. So that,
Yeah.
that kind of shot it up to about 600,000. Union Lad Bible wanted it. Kind of went to about 1 mil, and then it just started just going crazy. And then
that was
we
when
had to-
YouTube took it. and
yeah,
they just went,
YouTube just sent it
"Everyone."
on, and every comment was, "Thank you, YouTube recommendations." Ha, ha, ha. Or
Yeah.
YouTube recommendations. Ha, ha, ha.
I think because I use two channels. I've got the Happy Hour one and my one. I think I was actually signed into my podcast one, which I'm not subscribed to anyone on. I think I saw it recommended,
Right, yeah.
and because obviously you're not in the thumbnail,
Yeah.
and it's your mate. I
Yeah.
think I don't.
Yeah,
You're not
yeah,
in it,
yeah,
are
yeah.
you?
No,
In the phone.
no.
Yeah, so I think I clicked on it, and then I was like, "Fucking hell, these boys have like done it again."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even remember where I saw it, but I just remember seeing articles and shit just
yeah.
about like this fake whatever the fuck you did, like, and it's just like how mad it went.
Yeah.
I was just like, that is fucking sick.
It is
like,
good,
And
and
do you know it went viral in China.
Really?
Viral in
Went
China
well more
is.
Oh my
viral in
God.
China.
that's viral.
It
That
might have
yeah.
even been on my on my phone when I swiped to that. It's just like Google recommend shit. It might have actually been on here, like
Yeah.
fucking just like
It was on. It was on Amazon.
Nuts.
Echo.
Yeah, it was
News,
on
wasn't
Amazon
it?
Echo.
Bloody
yeah. I think
hell.
it
Yeah,
was
no,
like
Amazon
on my
Echo. I think it was
fucking
fixed
mate.
too.
It went
It
everywhere.
is just one of those things that's perfect for an audience of our age, especially. Like as you said,
Yeah.
like with fashion, people love to look in and kind of laugh.
Yeah.
It's the same with art. Like
Mm.
when you look at like expressionistic art, people look and kind of go, "What the fuck
Did
is
you see that
that
video where basically a guy, there was an exhibition for all art that was like thousands of pounds, and he put £4 what's the fucking Swedish brand where all the furniture?
Oh yeah, fucking
IKEA.
yeah.
IKEA.
Yeah,
He just
yeah,
put £4 IKEA paintings up on the wall, and all these artists were, oh
I've
my
seen
god, the
that.
expressionism. And they're like, how much would you? Oh, I'll pay 15, 20,000 pounds. So it's like it's £4 from IKEA. It's like,
Yeah.
you're a cunt.
That's the thing with art is so subjective that you get the
Yeah.
mugs try and make head and tail of it, and they haven't got a
100%.
fucking
Yeah.
clue.
I mean, the fact that you've got
Yeah.
artists literally just flicking a brush from a distance at a canvas, and that'd be
Yeah.
like 40 grand. It's fucking
Yeah.
mental.
It's crazy.
Absolutely mental.
What have you guys got coming up? Obviously, you don't want to give the game away,
Yeah.
but
Well, we've what have we got coming up?
I was gonna say Fashion Week Part 2.
Oh yeah, Fashion Week Part 2 is a good one. So yeah, we've just done London, dressing our mate up in absolute shite. Paris Fashion Week is in June,
Oh.
so we're rubbing our hands together, thinking, what
That'd
can
be
we
a good
do?
one.
What
Yeah.
can we
If you
do?
need a new model, boys.
We-
Do you know what I mean?
Well, we are thinking of
I had a
drafting
modelling
it.
contract for a year, that's all I'm going to say. So I've got experience.
there's a reason that's not still ongoing. Though.
But you could be the ones to reignite that career.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So change
Yeah,
my
so
life.
We're having a little look at what we can do for that one.
Yeah.
Summer could be, festival season's coming up, so we're looking to take the piss during that
Yeah.
Much as humanly
glorious period.
possible.
Yeah.
Fair play. Fair
yeah.
play.
What else we got coming up? Yeah, we've
We
got
got
all
in
sorts
terms of
shit
content that
coming
we filmed. We've probably got we're actually ahead. We haven't edited, but we're
Yeah.
actually ahead on like recording a vid. So we did one last week, which was Jamie's idea. It was super last minute, but we've had a concept in mind for ages on like how to get a brand deal, and that would have been better when we were like the struggling channel at 30k subs.
Yeah.
And we were just going to go to fucking lengths to like get in front of a brand because it's harder than ever. Like
Yeah.
with all the kind of just big names out there and so much like traffic on YouTube. So yeah, Jamie kind of like had a little think on that idea and found one of the biggest like kind of most prestigious marketing award ceremonies of the year, where all the big agencies, all the big brands are there and they're there to win awards. So they've done something right.
Right.
So literally with 2 hours prep, he comes up with the idea. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, and he wanted to go and just pitch on stage in front of 600 people. So yeah,
It's mad.
we grab the tube down, we fucking write a little script, and it's awful. We rehearse it just outside the venue.
I can tell you wrote it. He's going, it's awful. You're going, come on.
He was in bed editing a video, and I had to like pitch him. He was like, we don't have a pitch, we don't have enough time. So I wrote this pitch dead quick. And he was like, fuck, it's all right actually.
Yeah, so we were rehearsing it, and then we had to sneak in. It was in like some nice
It was
hotel.
like £300 a ticket. Tables were £3,000, £4,500 for the front tables.
Yeah, and we basically just rolled on into this room full of fucking like these high paid marketing gurus, and yeah, we got on stage. We got some guy from the front row I gave him the camera. I was like, look mate, we're gonna do a pitch, like can just hold the camera there, it's recording.
He didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. His company just paid a load of money for this table with nice food, and some little idiot was like, oh, this camera mate, just put it in the mic. I was like, what?
But yeah, we get up on stage first time, the mic doesn't work, the room just kind of no one's listening, and we're like, right, fuck. Okay, so that was the embarrassment out of the way. We're like,
Yeah.
right, we'll go for it next time. Jamie manages to convince the sound guy that we are actually meant to be there, and we're actually meant to have a like little pitch going on. And yeah, next time the fucking lights come down, the screens turn on, we are projected to the room, and we're like, hello, ladies and
I was like, you ready, mate? And he was like, yeah. And it fucking just echoed. Brother was like, shit. I was like, you know what? We've got to fucking go for it. Like, ladies and gentlemen. I'd never seen fucking jaws drop as much as they did. I was looking around like, is this actually fucking happening? And they were looking. I was like, what the
Wow.
fuck?
In my mind, I'd imagine like just security guards coming from both sides, ready to
Yeah.
come and
How do
tackle
they
you.
stop
So
you?
that's why we wrote like such a short pitch. The end line was I think it was something like, if we get kicked out right now, you can find us on Zac and Jay YouTube channel. We'd love to work. Alternatively, if the lovely folks at Drum Events who like were running the event don't want to kick us out, and we'll see you at the bar. And literally we went out to the bar and we were just getting like kind of people come up to us like all throughout the night. So it was
That's
sick.
so cool.
Yeah, the guy that ran the event fucking, because I went round, we got like these shitty little business cards that we just throw at people so they know what the channel name is.
Yeah.
And we were just going round to all the tables, just giving them out on the way out. And one guy fucking grabbed my hand, he was like, fair play. And he fucking grabbed me close, like, you fucking little shit, that's my event. And then, but he was joking. He was
Yeah.
like, nah, respect to you boys.
Wow.
That's like, amazing. So,
That's quality. Do you think you'll get a brand deal come of it?
Yeah,
Chat
we're
to
in,
a few.
we're in a couple good conversations, yeah.
Yeah.
But, like, the good thing is they're not. Sometimes when you work with brands, I think you mentioned it before with a brand that will name nameless, but they want polite content of no swearing and being nice and all that shit, and smiling as much as you
It's
can.
not real.
But we've kind of gone in there and said we don't give a fuck and we will crash an event.
Yeah.
And so like the conversations that we're having now is the pretty big bold event. So it's like
Sick.
Yeah, that's
Fair
quality. It's quality. I know we've done a whole. Usually, when we have YouTubers on, we tend not to do a whole show around the channel, and we talk more about you guys. But I think because when we have, I think it would be safe to say, like when you have people like Casper who are lovely and sort of like KSI, their life is quite sort of like the same thing over and over, whereas your videos are built around a narrative and stuff. So I think we'll probably wrap it up there. If you guys listening or watching do want to check these boys out, they're absolutely smashing it at the moment. What is it? YouTube.com/
the Zac and Jay Show.
with the as well, so remember that, not
don't
just
forget
Zac and
the
Jay. Yeah, check it out. Check them out on the socials and all stuff like that, boys. It's been an absolute fucking pleasure.
100%. Please come back and tell us more stories.
Please do
Right?
do more
Fucking
videos.
hell.
Yeah, you'll
so
have
you
more
can-
to tell us.
Yeah.
Jesus
Just
Christ.
a few more tweets like fucking hell, someone's bailed on us. We need someone else.
I'm sure we'll end up seeing you guys at some festivals anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you may be a last-minute sub, but I think you've just scored a 90th minute winner. So it's
100%,
it's been
boys.
quality.
Smashed it.
Yeah,
Fucking
thank you
smashed
very
it.
much, boys, and we will see you next week. Cheers.
Bye, guys.
Bye.